Blood was never found. Neither were the bodies. Their cigarettes still sat in the ashtray, their cars in the driveway, 3 purses lined up inside the door. This is the story of the Springfield Three. Sherrill Levitt was 47 years old and she worked as a cosmetologist in Springfield, Missouri. She cut hair. She was good at it, the kind of woman who remembered her clients' names and their children's names and asked after both. She lived in a modest one-story house at 1717 East Delmer Street, in a quiet residential pocket on the city's east side. The night of June 6, 1992, she had been on the phone with a friend discussing how to refinish a chest of drawers. Court records and reporting described the call as ordinary, pleasant. It ended around 11. Her daughter was Suzie Streeter, who went by Suzie. She was 18 years old, and the evening of June 6 was meant to be one of the best of her life. Suzie Streeter had graduated from Kickapoo High School that day. There were parties. There was laughter. There was the particular electricity of being 18 and finished with school and certain for once that everything was about to begin. With her was her friend Stacy McCall. Stacy was also 18. She had graduated to stay elsewhere. The plans changed. Late that night, she and Suzie Streeter decided instead to drive back to the house on East Delmer Street, to sleep there, and to figure out the rest of their summer in the morning. So 3 women went to bed in a small house on a warm June night. Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, Stacy McCall, a mother, her daughter, and her daughter's friend. By the time the sun came up on June 7, 1992, all 3 were gone, and they have never been seen. Sometime after, Suzie Streeter and Stacy McCall arrived at the house on East Delmer Street. Their cars sat nose to tail in the driveway. Inside, the lamps were still on. Friends tried to reach them the next morning. June 7, 1992. A group had planned to meet at a water park, and when Stacy McCall did not show, people began calling the house. No answer. By early afternoon, Stacy McCall's mother and others drove to 1717 East Delmer Street and let themselves in. Nothing looked violent. 3 purses lined up near the door, cigarettes in the ashtray, jewelry left out. Sherrill Levitt's bed looked slept in. The television murmured to an empty living room. Janelle Kirby, a friend who arrived that day, later said the only thing wrong was the porch light globe shattered on the steps. Someone swept the glass up before anyone understood it might matter. Investigators believe that small act erased evidence. There was no note, no struggle anyone could name. 3 women simply absent. The shattered globe became the closest thing to a clue. Police Investigators believe the women knew their abductor or opened the door willingly because nothing in the house suggested a fight. Tips arrived by the thousands. One caller claimed to see Suzie Streeter and Stacy McCall in a green van that morning, hands pressed against the glass. It was never verified. Robert Craig Cox, a convicted felon living in Springfield in 1992, told reporters years later he believed the women were dead and would never be found, though he denied involvement. 2007 search beneath a parking garage at a Springfield hospital, prompted by ground-penetrating radar, yielded nothing. Names came and went. None held. The shattered porch globe is still the only physical clue worth the name, swept up before anyone understood it. Investigators have spent more than 3 decades circling the questions it left behind, and the questions have outlived nearly everyone who first asked them. Why were 3 purses lined up at the door, untouched? Why did Dottie, the family dog, stay inside, agitated but unharmed if a stranger had forced his way in? Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, and Stacy McCall left no blood, no note, no broken lock. One theory holds that they opened the door to someone they knew. Another holds the abductor talked his way inside. Neither has ever been proven. Then there is Robert Craig Cox, a convicted felon living in Springfield in 1992. He told reporters years later that Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, and Stacy McCall were dead and would never be found. He denied any role. He failed a polygraph. Court records show thread when pulled simply ends. The case of the Springfield Three remains open with the Springfield Police Department, classified as an abduction, the women presumed dead though no remains have ever surfaced. The central questions are the same ones from June 7, 1992. Who came to the door? Why nothing inside was disturbed? Where Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, and Stacy McCall were taken? The families spent years pressing for answers, and Stacy McCall's mother reached detectives decades on. No arrest has ever been made. 3 women went to bed in a small house on a warm June night. The lamps were still burning when the sun came up. They were already gone.